Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I found an article here and the headline was interesting, so I thought I'd share it with you. Here it is. The headline, VA disability conditions. What is the most approved disability for veterans? So let's jump into it here. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe. There's Stan. Subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. All of that helps to get the word out, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you. There is a subheadline here. A hearing problem is at the top of the most approved conditions by the VA. Obtaining disability compensation from the Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, is a complicated task. So that's true, right? Many of us who've been through it know. So at best. However, there are some conditions that by nature receive an approval faster and more frequently than the rest. Do you know what they are? It says to continue reading, so here we go. The list of conditions for which you can receive help is very extensive. Conditions such as chronic back pain, breathing problems, hearing loss, loss of general range of motion, or loss of a particular joint range of motion are just some of the conditions VA considers granting benefits to those who suffer from them. Those with a higher approval rate are tinnitus, that ringing in the ears, right? Limitation in knee flexibility, lumbosacral or cervical strain, constrained arm movement, and scars or burns. Tinnitus is the most approved both for those who request compensation for the first time and among those who are already receive the benefit. According to a report from the VA in 2022, it approved 197,935 new applications for ringing in the ear. The total number of beneficiaries for this condition is 2.7 million. So let's stop there. 2.7 million veterans are rated for tinnitus, the ringing in the ears. Now, it's only a 10% rating, so that's what it is. However, it might offer a road to secondary conditions, maybe something in the mental health range. Now, it also could open up other things for folks. It could be your only condition, which would be a win because now you're a disabled veteran. Additionally, with that disabled veteran status, other things may open up for you in your state as far as other sorts of benefits are concerned. So that's something to also look at. Same with employment. Being a disabled veteran might help you with some employment opportunities. Same with self-employment designations as being a disabled business, a disabled veteran business. Moving on. Rounding out the top 10 conditions most commonly approved for VA disabilities are hearing loss, limited ankle motion, sciatica or sciatic nerve paralysis, migraine, and post-traumatic stress disorder. What conditions automatically qualify you for VA disability? According to the VA, there are no conditions that automatically qualify you for disability compensation. However, there are certain conditions that the department calls presumptive, and I've done videos on this many times in the past. Presumptive conditions, very important. This means that it automatically assumes they were caused by military service. So, when you think about the VA and conditions that could automatically qualify you for a disability, presumptives would be the closest thing to that, which means that you served in a certain location during a certain time period that warrants presumptives of a whole list of specific conditions. It's not just any condition. There's a list of conditions that the VA will presume that if you served here during this time period and you have this condition, they just automatically say it's due to your time in service. You don't need to prove anything with regard to Nexus. Moving on, presumptive conditions include ALS, arthritis, hypertension, and diabetes. It should be noted that for a condition to be considered presumptive, you must receive your diagnosis within the first year after being released from active duty. That's not true. So this is on marca.com, and I'm going to kind of fix that a little bit. There is a list of presumptive conditions that's called the 1-year presumptives for anyone who served in the military. There's a 1-year period after your time of service that if you got diagnosed within that time period and you have a condition that falls in that list, the VA just assumes that, look, you got diagnosed for diabetes 3 months after you got out of service. Most likely you had it when you were in and you just never caught it. So they'll just give it to you, which is fine. That's great. But there's also things like Agent Orange and burn pits and that type of stuff, and there's no limitation on when you get diagnosed. You could come down with some sort of horrific cancer from burn pits or Agent Orange many decades later and get diagnosed for that, and that is a presumptive condition that you will get awarded. So I really don't like that they said that, because it's information like this that makes people go, oh, well, I didn't, so I won't, so I can't, and they move on. So you just self-segregate out because you don't look any further. So I'm glad that we caught that. So no, depending on the criteria of your condition, right, being presumptive, really the only one that's going to hold you to that is that 1-year presumptives, where if you have a condition that's identified within 1 year of your time in service, that's the only one. All the other presumptives, your Agent Orange, your toxic water from Camp Lejeune, your burn pits, all that stuff, that doesn't hold true. So let's move on. Not only physical conditions can be considered presumptive, there are also some mental illnesses on the list, including psychosis, anxiety, and depressive neurosis. Don't forget that although the VA automatically considers these conditions to be linked to military service, you still have to follow the entire procedure to obtain your benefits. This includes proving you actually suffer from the said condition through medical studies and all the requirements the department establishes. So that's very true. When it comes to presumptive conditions, they eliminate the hardest part for the claims process, which is providing the nexus, proof that your condition either manifested during service or as a result of your time in service, right? They eliminate that nexus. And now all you need to prove is I served in the military in this specific area during that specific time frame, and I'm diagnosed with this presumptive listed condition. If you give them those two things, they will grant you service connection and you can move on. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.